answer. I don't know what he fully understood or what he didn't understand. Same thing here. I got an answer, and yeah, he got it right, but I don't know why he got it right. I don't know how he got there. I can't give feedback to someone who doesn't justify. I need you to give me some reasoning so that I can tell you where you're going wrong, so that when it comes to the test, you do better. Because it's not just going from a 35 to an 82. Maybe you go from a 90 on the understanding check to 100 on the test. Did you still do better? Should I honor the fact that you grew in your misunderstandings before? Yes. And so I will. You might need to move those desks out of the way and pick all that stuff up. Don't do that, that'll drop more. So move your desk back, get those up while I'm talking. Jordan, you started to ask a question. What was it?
Hold on, I can remember. I can't remember.
Okay, if you think of your question, let me know. Alright, so we're getting back to the sheets. Oh yeah, so statistical, non-statistical, numerical, categorical, that's what we just had. So I need y'all to get this sheet out where we first talked about a dot plot. Okay, this should be in your notebook. Come on, we got 25 minutes to learn as much as possible. Oh, 25 minutes. Oh, my life is rough. Yeah, that's me making fun of y'all for whining all the time. 100%. Say again, sir? There's only so many battles I can fight in a day. Alright. So we should have this sheet out now. While y'all start getting this out, Jordan, I just want you to see this really quickly. This is what a dot plot is. Literally, you just put a dot everywhere there's a data value.
I think I saw that. I don't know when, but I think I got that.
Okay. I think we talked about it on Wednesday. Okay. Dot plots, not too bad. Don't forget, from this dot plot, right, we talked about what story does the data tell. That's what I asked y'all to do at the end of the understanding check. There was lots of things you could talk about there. And so we got to this 1.1, and we said according to the data in the getting started, is action required? Well, we said action's not really required because all but one of the data values is within the limit, right? What was the limit, the highest that the lead in the water could be? 15 ppb parts per billion. There you go. And so only one of those data values is outside of it, so probably okay. And so remember, I talked about a dot plot is great if we have a lot of data or just a little data.
A lot. A little.
Yeah, I was saying if you have 1,000 data points, do you want to graph 1,000 dots?
Man told me that one. Yeah.
I have zero desire to do 1,000 data points, which is why we learned about what graph after the dot plot. The histogram.
Good job, you smart.
It's not that I need y'all to stop doing that, right? Someone getting something right doesn't mean they're smart. It means that they learned something, that they grew. It doesn't matter how smart you are in the past or anything like that. Shift your mindset. What have I learned and what have I grown to do? I don't know a lot because I'm smart. I know a lot because I learned so much. I learned how much I didn't know. Okay? That's an important distinction. Okay, so looking up here, what does this graph kind of remind us of? It's a histogram, but what should we think about when we look at a histogram?
That reminds me of some steps.
Okay, some steps. But a lot of times people see histograms and they think of bar graphs. Or bar charts is actually what they're called. I think I addressed this last week. I may not have. Even though it's got bars, why is this not a bar chart? Hold on, I heard Coda first, and then I'm going to go to Barry Lee, and then were you talking?
No.
So I'll come to you afterwards if there's still something to say. So Coda, start us off.
A bar chart has separate lines of bars, and a histogram connects the bars.
Okay, so a bar chart has separated bars, whereas the histogram, the bars are together, and there's an important reason for that. Barry Lee, do you remember why? Anybody remember why bar charts, the bars are separated, but with a histogram, they're together?
I got a question. I might answer.
Hold on a second. Say again. Okay, so I want you to look at this right here. What type of data are we dealing with? We're dealing with numerical data. Bar charts. With separated bars, categorical data. Notice with a histogram, it's 0 parts per billion up to 5 parts per billion. Where does the next bar start? At 5. So shouldn't those bars be touching? Okay, histograms, the bars touch because we're dealing with numerical data. Bar charts, the bars do not touch because we're dealing with categorical data. Thank you. I'd probably make that note if I were y'all. Histograms, bars touch because numerical data. If I explain why, you should probably write that down. Even without me having to write it up here.
Can you please write it up there? Dave?
If y'all had written it down as I was talking through it, you wouldn't need me to rewrite it. But I will write it this time. Start writing why. Always write about why. Notice I'm including that detail, that word of bins, right? They define bins right on that in that textbook. Histograms have bars that touch because the numerical data has bins, intervals of data that touch. Those bins touch each other. Aiden, you awake back there, buddy?
I'm guessing we don't ever have open note tests.
No, you in high school, bro. And I know some high school teachers will do it, but I don't get it because you're in high school.
What's that? Bins? Is that bodies?
No, bin, B-I-N, bins. It's defined right here in the textbook. Okay? And so I do want to remind y'all, because I know that we struggle with this a little bit. And so Aiden, I know that you had some trouble with this, so I'm going to come back to you on this. Can anyone explain to me what this 32 right here means? Emily looks like she has an idea. Emily, go for it.
I remember writing it down. It
Oh!
was the frequency. I remember the 0 up to 5 was like between 0 and 5.
So there were 32 data points that have lead concentration between 0 and 5. That's what we're saying, right? So there were 32 data points where the amount of lead in the water was between 0 and 5. Alright? Jordan, you want to explain the next one for us? Or are you about to say something else?
I got a question that I had for a while.
What's your question?
This could be a dumb question to everybody, but like, this is a question I really do want to know. When you said something about bars, right, and that's not touching, is this what you think we line?
Yeah, the bars are literally touching each other.
What's the point of that? Well,
I literally just explained it. Remember right here, I'm glad you're asking so this clear, but notice right here, this is a bin, 5 up to 10, right? And so the next bin is from 10 up to 15. So one stops at 10 and the next one starts at 10, right? So if they're starting and stopping at the same place, don't they have to touch each other? Okay.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
Alright. So, Aiden, you ready to explain what this 48 means? Alright, so I'm going to come back to somebody else. Jordan, what you think it means?
Oh, it's the frequency of 48 that amounts of lead and water up to 5 up to 10 or something like that, right?
Something like that, okay. So anyone want to add on, or Anaya, what you got?
How many data points would lead concentration up to?
Okay, so notice that's how many data points have between these concentrations. To add a little bit more clarity, 48 data points have an amount of lead in water between 5 and 10 parts per billion. That's all it is, right? Taking the frequency and putting it with the context. There are 48 data points with an amount of lead in the water between 5 and 10 parts per billion. Okay? Alright, feeling better about that? Aiden? Hopefully you wrote this down last week. What does that 100 mean? Okay. I'm coming back to you. I'm letting someone else explain it. Don't sit there and shrug your hands, your shoulders. You're not even trying. You haven't even said anything yet. I'm trying to help you understand. Devin, explain it to us.
There are 100 data points with lead concentration between 10 and 15 ppb.
There are 100 data points with lead concentrations between 10 and 15 ppb, but what does ppb mean again? Parts per billion. All right, Aiden. Just give us an attempt. That's all I'm asking you to do.
I think we got to start 47 data points.
Okay? Keep going. 47 data points that what?
Go up 5.
Say again.
They go up 5.
Okay, talking about the 5 difference here. That's a good start. I appreciate your attempt. All right, so there's 47 data points. Anybody want to push back or add on to what Aiden said with that? Remember, guys, active collaboration. I need you talking during whole classes. I can't do it for you. Barry Lee.
There are 47 data points with lead concentration between 15 and 20.
Okay, so Aiden, notice it's not just
We got
going up by 5. It's the amount of lead in the water between 15 and 20. Because notice how much do each of these go up by? They all go up by 5. So it's important that we're recognizing the 47 specifically is when the lead concentration is between 15 and 20 parts per billion. Hope that clarifies things. Yes, Jordan.
Are we gonna end up having to like memorize that whole thing? What that he said about the? Dang, I can't really.
No, you don't memorize it because it's going to be a different set of data that you're going to have to explain what it means. We'll get more practice with it, but Jordan, it's not memorizing anything. It's recognizing that this is a frequency and that this is the context. You're not memorizing jack. You're explaining and understanding. So I have 47 data points where the amount of lead in water, notice I'm literally just reading this off, right? Where the amount of lead in water was between 15 and 20 parts per billion. Everything's coming straight from the table. You have to learn how to interpret the points from the table. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's continue forward from here. So did we do this number 3 about what conclusions can you draw? No? Okay, so here's the question I'm going to ask you. Again, the whole point is what the story is being told. What conclusions can you draw from the histogram about the amount of lead in the drinking water of Greenville? So talk about this in your small groups. I need you actively collaborating, discuss with each other. What conclusions can you draw? And don't forget, what was the maximum lead concentration that we want to talk about? 15 parts per billion. But also don't forget, what are the different aspects of numerical data that we need to analyze? Did we talk about this yet? So that's the measure of center. Unusual aspects, I think I told you we're not going to do that one, right? At least not yet. Okay. And the first S is shape and spread. Give me as much as you can, right? Tell me what you're seeing there and we'll discuss. I'm going to give you all 5 minutes to talk in your small groups. I need you actively collaborating and discussing, not touching each other's. Kari, keep your hands to yourself. Huh? We will.
I thought it was in here.
It is in there.
It's the last 2 papers.
It's that. I'll tell you later. It's not due till Wednesday. We'll talk about It's the question is on the paper. Have you talked to your group first?
No, we didn't.
Talk to your group.
The highest amount of lead.
Or they need to get that from
Data points
Part per billion, is per billion. PPB.
I think we can put is,
So we put it in the highest amount of lead and water and the lowest.
I ain't got that shit.
Okay, tell me one.
I think say, we can put that once it started from 0 to 5, it went up, but then it went all the way to 100.
Think about some other things you said. Whole box of these. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Hey guys, question 3 is on the board where it is because it goes with question 2, right? The histogram that's there.
What's the answer?
We got this guy.
I do.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And guys, I need y'all to remember, just like with the 1 to 100 task, you take time to discuss in your small groups, and we have a whole class discussion where we build on each other's ideas. You don't need to put pressure on yourself of whatever you say is all on you. Share what your group said. Be an active part of the discussion. That's where your active collaboration comes in. So, let's hear from somebody I haven't heard much from at all today. What conclusions can we draw from the histogram? What you got, Matt? Matt, I've heard from you a good bit today. Somebody I haven't heard from. He needs a volunteer though, Devin. Jaden, he's trying to help you out though. Your active collaboration depends on it. Guys, doesn't take y'all talking. I need someone to step up. I know, but I need someone to step up who hasn't been a part of the conversation. Say something. Your silence is deafening. Nathan, what you got?
Well, I was going to say is that once 0 up to 5, 5 up to 10.
Hold on, Nathan, your own group members aren't even being respectful and listening to you. Nathan, can you start again?
At first, it started went up, but then at the end, it went down. And that could have been like an effect.
Okay. What you got, Trent? Okay, so the lower amounts of lead in the water have higher frequencies. All right. What else? I gotta ask this. Has anybody said anything about the CUS part yet? What's that C stand for?
Center.
Measure of center. Guys, a measure of center is just a typical amount. What do y'all think a typical amount of lead in the water might be? 15, 12 maybe. Where are you getting 12 from?
7.
You just saying 12, making it up? No, there's a reason why. Why are you saying 12? Marlon, come on. Tell me why. Come on, guys. We got 5 more minutes of good learning in. Excuse me, there's side conversations that shouldn't be happening. We're having a whole class discussion right now. Come on. If Marlon's not willing to share it, does someone else know why maybe 12, Maddie?
Oh, you said 12?
That's what Marlon said.
I said 15.
Say again.
I think 15 because that's what it said in class. Yeah.
Well, 15 I think was the maximum, right? That's not what we're seeing in the data. Remember, I'm asking right now about the center. What is typical to expect, Wesley?
Which will be the center?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Why are you thinking 12?
Oh.
Thank you. Where are we getting 12 from? There's a reason that we're thinking, some of us are thinking 12, and 12 is a great answer, but why? Oh, that's right, because here's the center, and 12 is between 10 and 15. There we go. Stop being scared. Share your reason why. All right? Yeah, Trent, you ain't talking very much at all. You can't be like, yeah, talk more. All right, look. What should we say? So 12 would make sense, but realistically, we just know it's between what two numbers? Okay, so a typical, right? A typical value is between 10 and 15. Right?
So why do you say typical value and not measure center?
Well, so a typical value is a measure of center.
Okay.
So does anyone know the actual measures of center that we typically use? There's the 3 M's. Mean, median, mode. But we don't have enough to, we have enough to actually know the median. Well, kind of. We know the median and mean are somewhere between 10 and 15, but because we don't have the actual data values, the points, we can't calculate them. That's why I would just say a typical value. But the mean and the median, those ideas are just about typical values. That's it. Okay? And so the measure, the center is between 10 and 15, or a typical value. That is describing the center. This is how I would describe the center. Are there any unusual aspects, maybe outliers or gaps in the data?
Oh, the 100. The 100 is all.
But remember, that's a frequency, right?
The class football team will have
Shape?
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Anyone know what the
Thursday,
shape would be?
Please make sure you have your physical and all of your forms.
See how it's about the same on both sides?
Hold on, what is that?
Yo, Ezra, come on, no sir.
Hold on, basketball.
That's too much.
No, it's gonna go.
I understand, but it's the way you're trying to come to my door.
And Mr. Dog.
Guys, what's a word to describe when it's roughly the same on either side? Identical? We'll talk, excuse me. I know. We'll talk more about spread and the rest of this tomorrow. We have got to finish this. Hey, stop. I didn't say Pat. Stop. Stop. We will finish this lesson tomorrow, and I need you to note. Hold on, sorry. Note right here. Note, not that. M4-15, write and practice. That is going to be submitted on Wednesday. Go ahead and start looking at it. There is some of this that you can already do. It is the last page in the packet I gave you. You can't do all of it yet. If you look at it like, I don't know how to do this thing, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it. But do what you can so you're not doing it all tomorrow night. M4-15 is the page. You're doing the entire write and the entire practice section. That's titles for sections, okay? You can hold on to it for you. Yep. Someone had a question. Who had a question? Do what? You can always email me.
You would tell me. No, I don't speak.
Hey, I'm not gonna take you right now. And then I gotta stay after school for band practice. Now I'm annoyed. So I'm tired and annoyed.
Thomas, I'm coming.
lots of kids.
Yeah, like the first thing that take on
So
what is math and all that?
Yeah, that. What is math?
Yeah. Yeah, but like they said, I still remember.
But did you turn it in?
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, until everybody took their yeah, grab it.
And then to give these back to y'all. But it is not in this stack that I have here.